Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Kayode and Lewis. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Episode 76, brothers. Episode 76. Wow. Welcome back to the show, y'all. We are back. 3-man booth is in effect. We took some time away, but we back to bring you another show, y'all. I'm your boy, Kayode, joined by Streaming Joel and Lewis, the administrator. Fellas, what's going on tonight? What's happening?
It's the most wonderful time of the year. I am in the holiday spirit.
Look at you.
It's kind of like it's my least favorite time of the year, but I love the payoff because of Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yes,
but it's my least favorite time of the year because of how overwhelming it gets and because of how wrestling gets to be in like this weird state typically, but not this year. Because in 2024, WWE is not having any type of filler content whatsoever because they're full steam ahead with their promotion of the Netflix premiere on Raw, which is literally 3 weeks away.
Do you guys know they're premiering on Netflix?
I know, right?
I mean, damn. They're spending a lot of money on advertisement. Jesus.
And then you got AEW busy with their Continental Classic. They're putting on their year-end pay-per-view. So this is... 2024 is the outlier here in terms of the holiday season.
Yeah, man. How about you, Streaming Joe? What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm chilling. I'm not as in the holiday spirit as Lou over here. Lou is like the Mick Foley of the podcast. You know, he used to bring him out in the Santa costume every year.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying the wrestling that is going on. I must say the Continental Classic has been great this year, and the lead up to the Raw on Netflix has been really cool as well. So yeah, very excited to talk wrestling.
Well, fellas, we had the first Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event since 2008.
Wow,
since 2008. There was what five solid matches. I wouldn't say solid. 5 matches on the card. I had time to kind of go back and look at some of this stuff. And I got, Saturday night's main event was, listen, they packed the house. That place was packed. The crowd was hot. The place looked good. They lit it well. The stage is hot. Like it felt big. It felt like a PLE. I just didn't think any of the matches hit that well. I didn't think I just thought it was a glorified. Some people called it a glorified house show. Some people said this could have been on Raw or a SmackDown.
That's
it was
fair.
just it was a hyped up show to bring in probably some new eyes, some new eyeballs to the product, especially being on NBC. And I found out that the number they pulled in NBC was like a 1.25 million, which is kind of in line with what they do with Raw. So I don't know how many new people actually watched it. So what did you guys feel about Saturday night's main event? Did y'all could jump into some matches? We'll hop in. Of course, you had the Cody and KO. You had what? You had Chelsea Green and Mi Chin for the Women's United States Championship. Shout out to Chelsea Green who did her thing. Well deserved. But what did you guys think of the show overall? Streaming Joe, what did you think, man?
Overall, I would say it was an okay show. I do agree with the house show vibes. I did like the look of everything, and the retro feel was really cool. It was nice seeing all of that. But I did feel like it was a little bit rushed as well, since it was only 2 hours, and they kind of like try to jam pack it. But I would say the matches, like you said, didn't hit, and I think it was a miss by them having that aftermath of the KO Cody match not be on TV. I get that mobile and streaming and all this stuff is what they're looking after, and they get to tout 45 million views on social platforms and all of that. But I think having that be that closing angle of that show is how you keep those new eyes, if there were any new eyes, because those new eyes aren't going to go and look for that on social after that. You know?
Yeah.
But overall, it was an okay show.
How about you, Lou? Did you catch it?
Yeah, I think more or less the same. I didn't get to catch it in real time, but I went back and caught some of the main highlights. The show closing. I mean, I guess it's a show closing angle. Really, it was the aftermath, like Joe said. That was hot. That was like the most buzzworthy thing to come out of it. So presentation wise, I thought it was good. They captured the retro feel of it.
Oh yeah.
Cody coming out with the Winged Eagle Bell and Kayode. I know the Winged Eagle Bell holds a special place in your heart.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
like the Winged Eagle Bell.
You're listening to the
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Oh, we went back to the intro.
No, my bad. You know what? I tried to give myself some clap. I was looking for the clapping sound, man. I hit the wrong one. I'm sorry, Lou.
Got too excited.
I got too excited.
I know, right? But yeah, the Winged Eagle Bell, I like it. It's a good bell, but I still favor the Attitude Era bell. But that's a different topic. But I thought it was what you would expect from WWE programming if you were to just tune into Raw or SmackDown. There wasn't anything special other than the retro feel. We knew Chelsea Green was going to win the U.S. title, and it was the right choice. Michin got a good rub from it as well. Mm-hmm. I thought overall it served its purpose. I think what probably hurt it was the fact that it was too close to the holiday season, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, some people tend to kind of tune out just a bit because it's Christmas and New Year's and people are traveling, they're getting ready for the holidays. Right. Then the other thing is it's very close to the Netflix premiere. So I think my mind naturally is more focused on that being like the big thing of the next few weeks versus Saturday night's main event. If they had scheduled that Saturday night's main event maybe even like a week or so before, then maybe it could have had more of a build-up, but then you had Survivor Series. So Saturday night's main event is always going to be tricky.
Yeah.
And the goal was to bring in new viewers. Maybe they did that with the 1.2 because typically I don't think 1.2 would have been a standard number on a Saturday night for WWE programming. So maybe they did bring in a whole bunch of new eyes. Who knows? But I definitely agree with you, Joel, that they should have had that angle of Kevin Owens dropping the pile driver on Cody to close out the show versus having the show go off the air and then all of a sudden you see all these viral clips.
Right. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. If you're going to do that package pile driver, I mean, why aren't you?
Right?
Why are you not doing that on television?
That's
right?
crazy.
Especially if that's a move you don't normally see in WWE. And I don't think Kevin's done that in a minute. I mean, since probably he's been in WWE, right?
Yeah, it's his first time doing it on WWE TV.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to put that on. I get WWE's trying to, they go for the impressions. They want to go viral. They want all this stuff, social media wise.
Yeah,
but they they hinder the audience that's actually watching the product live from seeing any of these big things, right? So yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on that. I understand the business aspect of doing it, of course, but as a fan, I'm like, that's something I wanted to see on that show, especially because the show was just okay. Like the show the show was Raw 2.0. Like it wasn't that exciting, right? It wasn't that exciting. And I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry. I hate the 5-match card. I'm sorry. I hate it. Not a fan. What it does for me is I'm expecting too much, and that's what's happening. So I'm walking into this thinking like, okay, we got 5 matches. They're going to do some shit I've never seen before. They're going to go crazy, going to go wild, and then you just get like a regular old match. Like if you're going to give me a 5-card match, I need the 5 of the best of the best of the best doing it to give me something, or give me something really story driven that's going to really make me entertained. But I don't know. The 5-match card is kind of like, come on, WWE. You're being a little stingy now. Like you got a little money in your pocket, and now you think you fly, and now you think you don't have to do as much. You got the girl next to you. You ain't got to do as much. No. I need you to do the same. I need at least 7. Give me 7. Give me 7. I'm good. I don't know. I don't like.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 is probably the standard number. Like 7, 8 max. Yeah, like that's the sweet spot. 5 at first, I thought it was a good idea. But now that they've done the 5-match card thing for quite a bit, I don't know. It's still hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like, let's just say 3 of the matches are nothing special. Then you're just relying on 2 to carry the entire event. At least when you have an 8-match card, half the pay-per-view could be mediocre, while the other half you can get 4-star matches minimum.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it might be a detriment. I think the only time a 5-match card works for WWE is if it's something like the Royal Rumble, maybe a SummerSlam. SummerSlam's 2 nights now. I guess it's like 5 matches on each night, like WrestleMania. But it's something like that, like a big event where like the main event is going to take up a lot of time, like War Games, for instance, in Survivor Series. Like Royal Rumble, I don't expect that shit to go any more than 5 matches.
Yes,
because you already got 2 Rumble matches.
Exactly.
And Royal Rumble is the perfect PLE for them to go 2 nights. That is the perfect one to go 2 nights on. One night for the men's Royal Rumble match, the other night for the women's Royal Rumble match. And then you can have world title matches, IC title matches, US title matches in between.
I agree. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm digressing a little bit, but yeah.
I hear what you're saying. What about you, Joe? You like that 5-match card joint?
Nah, man. Definitely, I agree with you guys. The 5-match joint. It's funny because they're charging more for these tickets. And they're giving you less. Like they are getting away with straight up highway robbery right now. Yeah. But they're the hottest show in town, so they get to do that. And Triple H has figured out, hey, we could get more money, do less work. It's definitely the TKO Endeavor taken out. Because we saw the same thing once they took over UFC. The cards got smaller and the prices of the tickets got more expensive. So it's definitely that happening, and we'll see how long it could last doing this. I mean, right now it seems like they're hot as hell. They're not slowing down when it comes to ticket sales. It is kind of crazy though when you think about it. Like they're adding more and more titles, but they're giving them less matches. So I wonder how they're gonna split this up. With these IC women's title, US women's title.
Well, remember.
How many titles you got on the main roster now?
Now remember, guys, the Raw goes back to 3 hours once it goes back to Netflix. That's true. And SmackDown will be moving to 3 hours as well. So
is that official?
I think that's official. Said by Adam Pearce. Said it by Adam Pearce. I think that's official. 3 hours. But here's what's going to happen, y'all. And kind of pivoting to this Raw on Netflix. So we got Raw on Netflix. They're already giving us some of the card. We got Rhea versus Liv Morgan. We got Punk and Seth, which we'll get into in a bit. What else we got?
Tribal Combat.
The Tribal Combat. Yeah, we got Reigns and Solo. I mean, dude, that's a hell of a card right there. But here's what we got to remember: Raw is on Netflix now. I don't think there's going to be anything earth-shattering with Raw being on Netflix in terms of week after week after week. The first 2 to 3 weeks is going to be hot, and then we're just going to have a regular 3-hour Raw show again. Like it's not going to it's not going to be like this like earth-shattering. Like they're not going to do anything different wrestling-wise to bring in more people. They just happen to be on the hottest streaming service in the world. And they just happen to be on Netflix now for their 3-hour show. But that's not changing anything really in terms of what we're going to see and be presented with. So let's enjoy these first 3 weeks because I think after that, we're just going to get a long 3-hour show. Still decent, of course, in the Triple H era. Still decent, but it's going to be long. Fellas, what do you think about this 3-hour Raw or just Raw going on Netflix? And let's hop into the Punk and Seth of it all. What are you guys feeling?
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
I just had to blurt that out, man.
All the holiday spirit just went out.
The holidays. You just went completely.
You can call me Heel Santa. Heel Santa. Man, oh God. Dear WWE, dear Triple H, Paul Levesque, and company, dear anybody who's running a wrestling promotion, I do not, in my opinion, it doesn't matter, apparently. But, and maybe it will someday. Maybe somebody, whoever's watching. I hate 3-hour shows. we have been dealing with the 3-hour format of Raw for 12 years?
A long time.
And it drags. Like, I can't even name you in the 12-year span 5 editions of Raw that were memorable from start to finish, just because it's too damn long to be watching that much wrestling content from week to week. That's too long. The reason why Raw has been more enjoyable as of late is because it moves at a brisker pace. Dynamite, you can say what you want about AEW's booking and all this shit, but it moves at a brisk pace. It's 2 hours. SmackDown on Friday nights, it's not always the most astounding 2 hours of television, but it moves at a brisker pace. When you got that extra hour, then you're finding yourself having to draw the matches out longer, draw the promos and segments out longer, and you're looking for more filler. It might change because Netflix is not the traditional TV model as we've been accustomed to. So, I'll give it the first month or two to see what the feel of it is going to be like. But 3 hours of anything is too long on a weekly basis. 3 hours, 4 hours tops for a pay-per-view PLE, I'm okay with, because you've been building up towards that for weeks on end. But weekly 3-hour shows, man, 3 hours for Raw, and now 3 hours for SmackDown every week. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. That shit is crazy. Like, that just upset me when that became unofficially official. Oh, SmackDown's moving to 3. Why?
Yeah, why? And maybe it goes back to what Joel was saying. You're making all these titles. You got now more people vying for going after these titles. You might need a little more time. How about you, Joe? What do you think?
It's interesting to think how it's going to be on Netflix, because I wonder if they're going to play around with the times a little bit. Maybe 1 week we might get a 2-hour show. 1 week we might get a 2.5-hour show. Because I wonder if those constraints are off of them a little bit. But I do wonder how they are going to measure success as well on Netflix. Because it's not like we really, I don't know if you get week to week streaming numbers on Netflix like that. This is kind of the first time we ever seen something that's going to be week to week live on Netflix.
Right.
It's a good point.
So I do wonder what they're going to do to measure success, as well as if the pay-per-views and all of that are going to be on Netflix in other countries, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Are they kind of slowly training their audience to be PLEs aren't that big of a deal, and it's more the week-to-week TV is more of a big deal? Because if you think about it, they've been doing a lot of big angles on the SmackDown right before PLE, a lot of title matches, tag team title matches, things like that. And now you're starting off Raw on Netflix with Roman versus Solo, which is a pretty big match, tribal combat for that Ula Fala. Mm-hmm. Side note, I never want to hear Ula Fala again. Please, man. I never knew what an Ula Fala was until 2 years ago. And now that's all we freaking hear. And
that's all you hear.
Yeah. But it is interesting. They're throwing these big ass matches on this show. I think Punk and Seth are main eventing that show. So it's interesting that they're willing to give away these matches that you would think they would hold off for a premium live event, but it seems like they're putting them on Raw. So I'm wondering, going forward, is Raw, since it's on Netflix, is that going to be your A show even above PLEs? Is this where the big blow-offs are going to be? It might be.
Boy, that's we will see, man. I mean, what I'm gauging from this is that they are putting everything into this Raw Netflix joint. I think we're going to get a really good slew of shows on Raw. I'm gonna make it a habit to watch these 3-hour marathons. Right? I'm going to stay up.
We both sigh at the same time.
I'm going to stay up past my bedtime.
Oh, man.
I'm going to watch every minute of these next 3 weeks, because I think we have to. I mean, I think they're going to be dope. Triple H said something at the press conference saying that these Raws are going to be the biggest, that these are going to be the most different, biggest, amazing Raws you've ever seen, right? Of course, he's saying, but
I hope so.
But now I'm curious. Now I got to see what happens with this. So I'm thinking we're going to get a hell of a first show, right? In that beautiful arena, the Intuit Arena in California, right across from the SoFi Arena. SoFi Stadium.
That's where the Clippers play, right?
Yeah, that's where the Clippers play. It's supposed to be insane, beautiful arena. They're probably going to sell the hell out of it, sell it out.
Oh yeah.
The tickets are ridiculous. I checked just for the hell of it, just to see,
yeah.
And I clicked off of it. I didn't want to see it anymore. And fellas, I mean, listen, this is, AEW right now is the show we probably will be going to for the foreseeable future.
The one we could afford.
The one we could afford. The one we will sit back and be like, yo, we're picking AEW or WWE, and we pick AEW because the price right. But listen, we shall see. Netflix is going to hold Raw. I think some other programming is going to be going over to Netflix as well. Not the whole WWE network catalog either, from what I heard. It's not everything. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're scrapping. I don't know what Peacock, if Peacock is even going to have any of this programming anymore. Is it all going to Netflix? I don't know any of it. But I heard that some of the stuff that we have on Peacock, we ain't going to get that on Netflix. Which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I like to go back and watch a little old ECW or old WCW, all that Stampede Wrestle, all that stuff. I like to go back and watch it, but I don't know if Netflix is even going to hold that. So we shall see.
I better finish the old school stuff that I'm currently revisiting. I better finish it before January 6th.
Yeah, finish it, man. I was watching all the Starcades, every Starcade.
Those are good.
I think I got like 4 Starcades left. Because those joints, those are great, man. Those are good pay-per-views. But fellas, I wanted to get into something. We kind of touched upon it before we began the show. I want to get into some Toni Storm, not literally, but I want to get. But
hey, he said it. That wasn't me. He said it.
But I wanted to talk about some Toni Storm here, guys. We are, and as Joel's got the Toni Storm shirt, the timeless Toni Storm shirt on, we got to talk about this for a second. We are seeing a new phase of this character, and she is sort of she's got some type of amnesia. She doesn't remember anything, but she's reverted back to her. I would assume it's her her rookie
like
rock star
gimmick, like her Ashley Mazzaro-esque character.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of digging it, and I'm liking it. I'm liking that she's just freaking creative, and that, I mean, that's different. I just got to see how they execute this. Time will tell. But what do you guys feel about the new Toni Storm original is back? What do you guys feel?
At first I said, what? Why is she returning like this? Like, this sucks. But then I started catching on little by little by her facial expressions, and I was like, oh, I see where they're going with this. Like, because there's no way. Like, Tony Khan may do a lot of stupid things, but he is no fool when it comes to certain hot acts. Yeah. And timeless Toni Storm, she, for my money, is Female Wrestler of the Year for 2024. And that gimmick, nobody has done that gimmick, or at least a version of that gimmick like this, and can back it up in the ring, and like she's just all in with that character. So yes, it would be in AEW's best interest to gradually get back to that, and then eventually you get the payoff between her and Mariah May.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, man, I'm loving it, man. I heard there was some like internet, there's always some bullshit happening on the internet, but I heard last week after she debuted, people were pissed off that she had her debut like return match on Rampage. But then I'm thinking about it, I'm watching it, I'm like, she's a rookie. So that's usually what they do with rookies in AEW. They put their first match on Rampage. So she faced some jobber in a return match on. Oh no, she faced Harley Cameron actually.
Jobber,
Jobber-esque, and it was like a hard fought match. Like, it wasn't like an easy win for her. And I'm like, okay, they're playing on this whole she's a rookie, she's making her debut on AEW. And then today on Dynamite they had the great backstage interview where she was like fanning over all the stars. Like RJ City was mentioning Saraya and Mercedes, and she's like, "Oh my god, I loved it!" Like it's really good. She plays this character so well. I'm really excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I think this is Tony Khan's like Undertaker, basically. Like this is his masterpiece, and he's gonna hold on to this and latch onto this for as long as he can milk it. And I definitely think it's a great idea to just keep her relevant, but not like throw her straight back into the world title picture. Build her back up slowly, and maybe next year, All In, that might be your big match right there.
There we go. Like, I mean, and what I'm thinking is going to happen with this character is that we're going to see a progression of her being more confident and her ring presence being better, her mic skills being better, and her kind of maybe losing the wholesome, I'm just happy to be here, like that kind of vibe, and see her be like a killer out there. Like now she's turned into this. Like if that's the trajectory they're going on, I'm very intrigued to see if that person, that end product, is anything like what she was when she was already like established in like WWE or NXT or whatnot. I'm very curious to see what they're doing with this. See, they got me. See, this is like you said, Joel. This is Tony's Undertaker. This is like Tony's.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
The greatest idea he's ever had, because a lot of people listen. I've been listening to a lot of the other podcasts, like Busted Open and all that stuff, and people are saying, "Yo, Tony needs to put down the pen. We need Tony to step aside. We need Tony to let somebody book who can tell story." Now, Tony's got his perks. I mean, he's got his pluses, and his pluses are he's a matchmaker. He gives us great matches, but we need somebody to tell some story to go along with those matches. And the major rumor, I don't know if this is even going to get even past anything, but the rumor is like, yo, people are saying, yo, put Bully Ray in that pen.
Yeah, I saw that. Bully Ray was vouching for himself.
Yeah, Bully Ray was like, yo, you don't even have to pay me for 3 months. Let me just see what I can do, and we'll go from there. And I don't know about you, but I'm intrigued. Even though he just signed a Legends deal, I don't know if that's like a with WWE. I don't know if that's like a thing where he can't get out of it. But I'm all here for a Tony kind of step aside moment. I think it's time for AEW to start really working some real storylines. And I'm going to give you an example, guys. I'm going to give you an example. The Death Riders, I was with it at first. I think it's crap now. I don't like it. I think it's boring. I think it's the Blackpool Combat Club 2.0. The only sort of interesting point is that they got a woman in it, and even she's not that interesting anymore. So we haven't even seen the championship belt.
I know, right?
It's supposed to be in that stupid ass little briefcase they carry. You know it don't fit in that damn briefcase. Like, come on, let's like, who are you kidding? Like, I don't know. I think it's time. I think it's time for some a change behind the pen. What do you feel? What do you guys think?
I literally was thinking the same thing watching the main event of Dynamite. I'm kind of checked out with the Death Rider angle, and not because Jon Moxley isn't doing some great work like with promos and stuff like that. I just don't understand what the purpose of the group is. I don't think, like, the wrestlers in the group are talented, but it just seems like a very random pairing of talent. I don't know. That's just me, but yeah, I don't know. World's End, there's got to be a payoff. We thought the payoff was going to come in full gear, and they extended it for a little bit. But there has to be something. Like, this is World's End, so you want to culminate the year with a big thing storyline wise going into 2025. Like, what is it? Like, what is the purpose of the Death Riders? Like, you are the world champion, Jon Moxley, but you don't want to show off the title because you're bringing some sort of justice to the company. You want to turn it upside down so you can reboot it in a sense.
Yeah.
And then, we read a while back that the Young Bucks were going to be the ones who went up against the Death Riders when they came back to save AEW. It just doesn't sound all that appealing to me.
Yeah, I don't think there's any direction, to tell you the truth. I think at first there might have been something going on, but I think right now it's sort of like the rumors are even John doesn't like what he's doing. Like he's sort of like I'm just kind of going out there and just going up with the ebbs and flows of it. But I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, it's weird because like you said, it was very intriguing at first, and I think we were all as fans waiting for like who is running this, right? Like, you know, there was the Shane McMahon rumors and all that. And who knows, it might still come to fruition. But I think it's sort of like one of those things where it seems it's been by the numbers a little bit week to week. And then we kind of been dragging this Orange Cassidy of it all.
Yeah.
And it seems like this pay-per-view coming up is just going to be another way for Moxley to get out of that match with the title, since it's a fatal 4-way for the world title now. So I'm sure it's going to be some way that he walks out champion again. It seems like they're just dragging it till they set up either Darby or whoever's going to be next in line to take that belt away from Mox. But it does seem like it is being dragged at this point, and it's interesting because like the promos that Mox is saying is like he wants to rebuild AEW. AEW's full of egos, all this stuff. It kind of makes it seem like they were trying to do their own version of the Bloodline in a weird way, where like Mox is the tribal chief of, and he holds the power, which is the title. Same way that like Roman was talking about like holding the power and feeding his family, being the head of the table, something like that. But it's just not hitting the same. And I think it's because there's no like real. Like I said this in a couple episodes ago, there's no real big baby face in AEW that is going after. Like Hangman is getting cheers and people, you know, cowboy shit. If Hangman was the one maybe like being the baby face trying to save AEW, that might have hit. Or maybe if you had Kenny Omega back or something like that. But right now it just seems like it's the weird band of like misfit good guys trying to take down this group of evil guys, and it's not working. Like I like Orange Cassidy, I like Darby Allin, but I just don't really believe them as these guys that are going to become the face of AEW or anything like that. So
yeah. And I think, you know, what's happening is AEW is trying their hardest to get, you know, Darby and Orange over so bad that we don't believe in them. Like we don't, you know, they're fan favorites. People love them, but we're kind of just sitting there like, can you really do it? Like, I mean, like, can you really do it?
I'm like, why don't you just make Will Ospreay the top guy to go after? Maybe that is the plan. Or make Swerve. The guy, I mean, you got or have MJF as like the gray area guy to go up against him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's another thing too.
There's just a lack of consistent star power baby faces from week to week. You know, I really hope that they turn the page going into 2025, because it's sad how much they've regressed in terms of being a hot product. They have really regressed bad in just a year and a half. I'm just shocked. You know what I mean? Now our average number for Dynamite is 500,000.
Yeah, man.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, bro?
What happened? Yeah.
Like, I just got an email notification today, pre-sale for Collision tickets here in Houston. And I'm like, you don't even need a pre-sale because motherfuckers ain't buying the tickets like that. So what do I need a pre-sale notification for?
You don't need a pre-sale. You're right.
For Collision?
You don't need a pre-sale. Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, I'm going to go. But I'm going to buy the ticket. But I'm just saying, like, you know, what was the purpose of the pre-sale for the all-in tickets? Because when I checked all throughout that pre-sale, many tickets were available at reasonable prices. Then with the general public sale, same thing. Like, nothing changed. So I don't know, man. And I'm gonna go to all in too. You know, because I want to support AEW. It's always good to have an alternative to WWE. I don't want it to go back to WWE being the main game in town, the main promotion in town. But AEW, they gotta get their shit together, man.
Now, Joel, what were you gonna say? You were about to mention something.
Yeah, it's just like with this whole angle, the Death Riders angle, it's like it's in its own bubble, which I think is hurting it as well. Because like if these guys are taking over the company and all this stuff, why isn't everyone trying to stop them? Why isn't
Right.
why isn't MJF involved?
Right.
Why isn't if Kenny Omega's not ready, why isn't he doing something like do a shoot interview, do a fake interview online, be like, oh, don't worry, I'm coming back one of these days.
Yeah.
They finally mentioned Kenny Omega on the show today.
They did.
Finally.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's been promoting a match in Japan for the last month and a half. Like, what are you? And they're like, he'll be back soon. They don't give us a date. They don't give us nothing. They're like, yeah, he's gonna go back to Tokyo. It's like, what are you doing? Like, this is your EVP. This is one of the guys who started the company, and you're not gonna have that first match. His first like anything on this show is weird. Maybe they're saving a lot of this for Worlds, and they are going to Max as well in the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
true.
Which is interesting that we're gonna have both companies going to streaming around the same time. It is interesting that everything's happening at the same time, but it kind of like it. So the shows have been okay. Like AEW lately, I've actually been enjoying the shows. The Continental Classic is great.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they could do to get more of a viewership. I think this is it. Like, I think this is their solid core fan base. I don't know if there's much growth. If you think about it, there's not much they could do. Like, besides stealing Roman or something, like, there's like, who is gonna make people change the channel to them? Like,
I honestly think
I thought about that too. Watching Dynamite, like they may have peaked, they may have plateaued. I think what we're gonna get going forward is this, like 500,000 to 600,000 viewers. A change to smaller venues. I am so curious to see where the company is by next summer, because if you're expecting to have a packed house, a Globe Life Field, a stadium
in the U.S.,
right? This is their first U.S. Stadium show.
They already had to move the Australia show to a smaller venue too.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Wow.
So what gives?
I listen. I got a little more hope for AEW. I actually think they can do some things that might bring in some more attention, and I think that's positioning certain people as your week-to-week baby faces, like they did Cody in WWE, where Cody is clearly the top baby face of the company. In AEW, we don't have that. We don't have a clear, definitive babyface, and there is a lot of heels in that company and a lot of tweeners that kind of you don't know where they're standing. And I think that's what it is. We have no defined characters and roles that are telling consistent linear stories week to week. I think if they did that might garner some attention. Also, here's the thing, guys. People got to stop disappearing week to week. This drives me insane. AEW has 5 hours of programming a week. That's including Rampage. Don't know if it goes away or not. 2 on Rampage. I mean, 1 on Rampage, 2 on Collision, 2 on Dynamite. There is no reason why Mercedes is on 1 week and not seen for 2 weeks. You're paying her like $3-4 million. I need you here every week. I mean, like MJF, same thing. This is the first time he was in an arena in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and he didn't even. And what's happening is out of sight, out of mind. I don't see you. I'm going to assume you ain't coming, so I'm not going to buy a ticket for this. Like same thing. Like if you go to a Lakers game, there's a good chance you ain't going to see LeBron because he's probably ain't going to play. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't spending all this money to not see the star players play. If you ain't playing, I ain't coming. I'm just going to watch at home. So AEW's got to do a better job at throwing us all their star power week to week to week. They got 5 hours, guys. Give me some. I don't want to see Mortis. I don't want to see Commander. I don't want to see any of those guys. I don't care about them. I don't care about them. I want to see the homegrown stars, the people you paid all this money. I want to see Okada wrestle matches, for Christ's sake. He was on what, last week maybe? Why wasn't he on this week? Doing a promo, doing something in the backstage. I don't know. Like, you gotta give me some star power, man. It just doesn't feel it feels it's inconsistent. And because of that, their crowds is inconsistent. And tonight they were in a much smaller venue. It actually worked. It actually
it did work. That crowd was hot.
It actually worked. The crowd was hot. They were also in DC, so you got that crowd is hot already, and it worked. So now I'm very curious to see what happens at the Hammerstein.
Yeah. If I'm AEW, I'm leaning into that, man. Get smaller venues.
Yeah.
Literally promote yourself as the cheaper option. Like, yo, you want to go watch wrestling? WWE's pricing you out. Come watch our show. You might like it. Just go fully into that in the new year. Hey, we're on Max now. Check it out. Hey, we might be in your city. Hey, the venue's smaller, is intimate. You'll get a chance to actually see the stars up close. You're not going to be in the nosebleeds. You're going to be up close for a pretty good price. Just lean fully into it. Don't try to be WWE. You're not going to be
That's
WWE.
what it is.
You're nowhere near WWE. And I think that's what it is. Like, we mentioned it a couple episodes ago. They grew too fast, I think, and they peaked very early.
Yeah.
And also, they peaked at a time where WWE was at its lowest creatively. They were in a really bad space creatively. Now WWE is hot. Triple H has taken over the book, and he's doing a really good job. And I mean, AEW, for all intents and purposes, is still doing pretty good. I just, like I said, I think this is their normal audience right now, just because the alternative is good again. And until maybe WWE has another, lull in creativity, then maybe, we'll see more people step over. But this is how many people really watch wrestling? It's a niche thing anyway. So in WWE at this point is basically Coca-Cola, it's Kleenex, it's a household name. It's not so when you say wrestling, the first thing people say is WWE.
Yeah, WWE.
Yeah. But then you say AEW, they're like, what the hell is that? So that, I think they need to lean fully into that. We're number 2. It's okay that we're number 2, but we're gonna give you the best show that you'll ever see. You're gonna get fucking balls to the wall action from minute 1 to the last minute. Like that Ospreay Darby Allin match today.
Oh man!
Oh, that was great.
That match alone is worth the price of admission right there.
There you go. And and AEW's got that, right? Like they got the matches, they got the wrestling, they got the wrestlers to do that type of stuff. You need some substance now. You need to give me a little meat with that. Like I can't just show up to an arena and you giving me good matches. I'm gonna get bored. I need to see what's going to lead to your week to week programming. Like why do I need to continue watching you? Like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I already seen your great matches. I need to know why I'm going to be invested in this. And AEW needs to do that. And you're right, Joe. Maybe they need to lean into the we over here, we got good matches. This is what we are. If you don't want to pay $400 for the nosebleeds, pay $65 for second level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're still going to get a good show. It's
true.
They need to lean into that. And the Hammerstein, I can't wait to see what that's going to look like.
If I was in New York, I would totally go to that. Too, for sure. Because that's going to be like ECW-esque type of environment.
The card for Collision is going to be nuts too. I think it's Ospreay Ricochet. Imagine that in that arena.
Oh yeah, they're gonna tear the roof off that joint. But I couldn't agree with you more, Joel. They lean into it. Like we are the smaller company, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to always come across like you're selling out 10 to 15,000 seat arenas. Like it's okay to run the smaller venues, but that's what it is going to give AEW that unique feel.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's almost like the ECW back in the day. Like the fans were ECW diehard fans. I think that's what they should be going after. Like tonight's crowd, you could tell everybody knew everyone out there. Yes. When you do these bigger arenas, you might get like those casual fans. Like Kayode, you went the other day with your buddy, and he was a casual AEW fan, and that's exactly when you get those bigger arenas and it's half empty. That's not a good experience.
Not a good look.
but now imagine it's a smaller arena. You bring your friend, and everyone there is hyped and screaming. Yeah. Now he's like, "Yo, I'm coming back next time." Exactly.
But see, what's funny though, Joe, what you brought up with ECW is that AEW ain't broke. They got like a $400 million deal next year. So it's so weird to think that this is the second largest North American wrestling company moving into smaller arenas like a Hammerstein with $400 to $500 million in the bank. Like it's crazy to think that. But you guys are right. They grew and peaked too fast, and maybe Collision. And Joe, I mean, Lou, I remember us doing shows, man. You kept saying, they should not do Collision.
It's all CM Punk's fault.
They should not do Collision.
I know.
Collision is going to unravel them. They ain't ready for it. It's just more time and energy they got to put into a different show when they haven't mastered Dynamite yet. Like, we talked about this.
Yeah.
And this is it's all happening, which is unfortunate, but it might be the spark that, people might see them and be like, yo, the show was dope in a smaller setting. Like, it was just better.
Yeah.
It was better. It was just better produced. It was just better
100%.
produced. But I want to get to one last thing, fellas, unless you guys got anything you want to talk about. But tonight, I think I'm all in with the Hurt Syndicate. Yo,
I like what they're doing.
Yo, the music hits.
We hurt people.
Yo, I didn't realize how badass this group is, and it just did not. And they're just starting. Like, this is just the frosting on the top. They haven't even begun doing stuff that I think they're going to probably do. Shelton Benjamin's coming off big time.
Yeah.
You Lashley just got the aura, and then you got MVP doing good work. I don't care what anybody says about MVP. I love MVP. Same. I think he's doing some of the best work. I love the Kane gimmick. I love all of that. And did you guys see tonight? They punked your boy Ricochet. And I loved it because I like this sleazy. I don't even know what to call Ricochet, but he's like a. I don't even know what you call him, but I'm kind of digging it. If they're going there with this,
wait, you mean they actually gave Ricochet a character? That's really the biggest difference between this Ricochet and the other one. Like,
I think it's the beginnings of something.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
Sure.
I don't know what.
For sure.
It might be just this week, but this week Ricochet came off as this little brother trying to get into the crowd, trying to make his weasel his way up to the big leagues, and they took the card out of Ricochet's hand, ripped it up. Lashley yoked them up. It was just, it was just great. I don't know. What do you guys think of the Hurt Syndicate? Sky's the limit. I'm thinking in AEW. Sky's the limit.
Yeah. It's some good stuff. I mean, it's solid. I think it's what the Hurt business should have been in WWE. Now, these are the preliminary stages, but this is exactly the presentation that they needed.
Yeah.
Not a PG watered down presentation. Like this right here, they come off as legitimate badasses.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. And one of my favorite things about 2024 is the fact that we're getting consistent 15, 20-minute Shelton Benjamin matches.
Yeah, man.
Finally, man. For all this Shelton Benjamin sickos out there who've been a fan of this guy in ring work for years at this point, since the Ruthless Aggression era basically.
Yo, 2 decades.
Since the world's greatest tag team, all that team angle. Yeah, I've been a big fan of this guy. Now we're getting consistent 15, 20-minute matches with this guy. He's putting on a show. He's so damn good in the ring.
He's good.
He is incredible. The match today with Beast Murtos, he just is good. Anyone you put him in the ring with, he delivers.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see where they go next. I do like the whole Ricochet thing too. I think he's the nerdy the nerdy kid that you let into the crew, but you got to rough him up a little bit before he gets in there. I think I like that as well, and I like he's getting more confident in those backstage promos too. Yeah. I don't know if I like the little laugh thing he's doing. It's a little annoying.
Yeah. I like it. He's channeling Jadakiss or something because I like it, but again,
give him something, right?
Give him something because he had nothing in WWE.
But I also think it's on purpose. I think he's meant to be annoying. The crowd is turning on him a little bit as well.
Good.
I noticed it last week when he faced Brody King. He was getting booed a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think they're leaning towards that. Let him be the annoying guy. He's annoying online already. People are pissed at him. People think he's a nerd. Let him be a nerd on TV. I think it's gonna get him over even more than he's ever been over. So hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I think
I'm here for it.
I'm here for this, Rick. I don't know what's happening. I hope they keep going with it. I hope AEW don't screw us and he goes back to this stupid I'm beyond the stars and all that bullshit he was saying. I don't want to hear none of that. Keep doing this real life nerdy I'm trying to be in. Let me in crowd. I'm digging it. So yeah. Fellas, anything else before we before we end the show. I think we hit on all the points. This is on the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Listen, we're gonna be gone for a couple weeks for the holiday season. We'll come back fresh. We're gonna look like a brand new Raw. Woo. Everything. Just less budget. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lewis got something. This is shocking.
I do have something.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to revisit us talking about basically revisiting old stuff like Raw, SmackDown, like where is it gonna land on Peacock, Netflix, whatever. So for the past few weeks, I've been occasionally I'll do it depending on my mood. I'll go and revisit certain angles leading up to iconic matches. So I'm now revisiting the beginning of the McMahon-Helmsley era storyline. So December 1999, fucking 25 years ago. Amazing, right? We're old. So that stuff was so good and so hot. And it's amazing how hot it was with Austin on the shelf. This is without Stone Cold. Like Rock is mega hot. The Triple H and Stephanie, they were just beginning to scratch the surface of what would become like a 7-month storyline with the McMahon-Helmsley regime and all that. But in the holiday spirit, there was this angle, and I task all old school Attitude Era fans, people that are our age, if y'all remember the X-Pac and Tori Christmas story. This was outrageous because, one night on Raw, this is when Triple H and Stephanie are like running roughshod. They're making matches. They're making talent do a whole bunch of crazy things. So they said, this is when Kane was with Tori, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
And they said Kane is going to take on X-Pac. If Kane loses, X-Pac gets to spend the night with Tori. So no, I'm sorry. It was Kane versus Big Show.
Okay.
In a for the WWE title because Big Show had the championship, and that's what it was. So Big Show defeats Kane. Long story short, at the end after the match is over, the New Age Outlaws come. They take Tori, sling her over the shoulder, and like they literally just kidnapping her. And then Triple H, he gets on the mic and he's like, this is what happens. We're running things now, but we just want to say, especially for you, Tori, have a Merry Raw Christmas. I'm like, this angle has sex trafficking, human trafficking written all over it. But here's the payoff. Then a few weeks later, Tori ends up turning on Kane because, like, the thing is, X-Pac, he was, gonna have his way with Tori, basically.
This is wild.
This is wild. Like,
I'm looking at some of the clips now.
He gets to have his way with Tori based on her man losing the match to Big Show. But then she turns heel and joins X-Pac because X-Pac just rocked her world. And that was like the whole big thing, which led to X-Pac and Kane having a drawn-out feud. So, yes, they had a segment, the X-Pac and Tori Christmas story. But how's that for a little WWF holiday nugget? Just fucking outrageous stuff, but it's so memorable, so good.
That right there is exactly why they're going to take all that shit off Netflix. They're like, we got to hide all this evidence.
Yo.
Attitude Era never existed.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, they got to take that shit down.
Oh, and mind you, this was also at the same time that Mark Henry was dating Mae Young.
You're about to get the hand. Oh, man. You're the good.
Yeah, you're about to get the hand, bro. Right?
Yo.
Yeah, 99. Go back and revisit December 1999. You will get a kick out of everything. Everything was just so good.
They pushed the hell out of those buttons, man. It was like do or die with this Monday Night Wars thing or whatever.
Word.
But yeah, man. Lewis,
I just wanted to add that because I'm a nostalgia freak. Yeah. So I always go back and revisit those glory times and just good stuff, man.
That was a good walk down memory lane, man. I was looking at some of the clips on YouTube as you were speaking, and it's X-Pac. they're beating up Kane, and then X-Pac, he's grabbing Tori by the hand, and they're all. It just looks real, like shouldn't be on TV, kind of thing.
Right.
Like we're pushing the lines just a little bit too much. Damn.
Those are the exact angles that when your mom would walk in, like you're like, damn, I was just waiting for the Rock, Mom. I promise.
I swear, Stone Cold is coming out. Stone Cold is coming out. Yeah, like this is the worst timing ever. Worst timing ever.
Seriously,
my mom would walk in only when Goldust was on TV for some reason. She's like, "What in the hell is happening here? What's going on? He's kissing a man. What was happening?" Like she was so. Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But listen, y'all, this is on the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Join us. We'll be back January 8th or something around that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We'll be
holidays, everyone.
We will critique the living hell out of the Raw on Netflix. Man, I can't wait. I don't know why. I'm legit can't wait for this. I'm actually appointment viewing for this. But join us next. Join us then. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. All that good stuff, y'all. Until next time, fellas. It's been real. We'll reconvene in the next year.
Absolutely.
You've been listening to the On to Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at On to Mark Wrestling, and email us at ontomarkpodcast@gmail.com.